So the lesson there, I guess, is don't don't drink in eBay. You may wake up with something that you didn't realize you were going to buy. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. What's up, everybody? Emceemur here. Yeah, okay. Well, this happened, I guess. I'm going to tell you. I was up late one night and had a couple margaritas and was playing around on eBay, and I woke up next to an Ouya. That shouldn't happen, but it did. Now, I could have just canceled the order, right? But I'm not that guy. I honored my commitment, and here we are. We're going to unbox an Ouya in 2020, but is this thing even still good for anything? I mean, it really wasn't good for much to begin with. I remember when these launched, I think we had one pre-order in our entire, GameStop district, and the guy picked it up, he took it home, he took it all apart and tried to mod it and do things to it, and then tried to return it after he had broken it, and obviously that was a no-go. But this thing's big sales pitch was that you could customize things and that you could make your own software, and some stuff was free and free the games. I don't know. It's an Android-based machine. It's, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, including me, we didn't bother to get familiar with it. This thing wasn't going anywhere. This was not going to hit the ground running. And honestly, I don't know why. It sounds neat in theory. It's just like, the timing's almost always wrong for something like this. You're not Sony, you're not Microsoft, you're not Nintendo, and you're just not going to be a factor. End of story. There's no money in hardware. It's all software, and even that you got to get lucky on in some cases. But we're going to see what this can do. From my understanding, it's nothing. I think Razer acquired the rights to this or something and shut down the stores, from what I read. But there's got to still be something. We're going to plug this up and something's going to happen, right? Let's open it up. Ooh. There it goes, being sealed. Yeesh. I got a bad feeling about this. Alright, come on, get in here. Alright, here we go. Buckle your seatbelts. And so begins the revolution. Okay. Well, it did not begin, but that's actually kind of cool. Let's stick that somewhere. I won't say where. Boy, it is little, isn't it? I saw one of these a few years back at a flea market, actually, and they didn't have all the parts. They just had this. So I was like, man, there's no reason to buy into that. They wanted like $20 for it, and here we are dropping 50 on this thing, and it's brand new. So man, that's a little doohickey right there. Well, we're gonna see what it's capable of. You got all your ports here on the back. Got an Ethernet port, HDMI, USB, power, I guess. Yeah, man. I don't know. I thought that the controller looked cool, and it does. It does, and it feels pretty good. It's ergonomically pleasing. They went their own way with the Ouya buttons. It's brand spanking new, that's for sure. Now whether or not we're going to be able to do anything with it, we're the proverbial dog that caught the car here. There's just probably not a lot we can do with this, but we're sure going to try. Not sure what they were thinking on the battery compartments on this thing. There's nothing in the book about it that I can see, so I actually had to look up online what to do. I was afraid to break this thing. I don't know, man. It's crazy. These are magnets. You literally just pull them off, but it feels like you're breaking it at first because it feels like it's attached to something. I don't know. I don't like that. What? Imagine having to do this in the middle of a game. These do not come off easily. They catch on something, then they catch on the stick. I don't know, it's just reinventing the wheel just for the sake of it. You could have just put a battery slot on the back like everybody else. I mean, get real. I've put in my own batteries because the batteries that came with this thing expired like 2 years ago, which is to be expected. These came out in 2013. So while this is brand new, it's old stock. So hopefully this is going to work. But yeah, I mean, the controller feels good, but this is just weird. Maybe you get used to it, but I feel like these are not durable enough to withstand constantly forcing them on and off like that. And a magnet? I mean, last I checked, that was not something you wanted near anything that had anything to do with video games. So, yeah. Probably should have thought better of that. And there's a AC adapter. A little bit of heft to it, so not a complete turd or anything. At least I don't think. We're definitely in no short supply of HDMI cables, but you know, so many people aren't including these nowadays, so we'll take another one, I guess. Got that. And a manual. And it'll be interesting to take a quick thumb through on this to see if there's anything not obvious we're missing out on, but I think we're just going to plug this right up and get into it. Alright, well, it's Ouya time. To pair your controller, press and hold the U button until only the middle two LEDs are flashing, then let go. And we've done it. Alright, so it's not working with a wired internet connection. That's pretty alarming. So no matter what we do here, wired or other, it just, I mean, it'll connect to the internet, but there's just nothing for it to draw on. I guess it wants to update, and there just isn't anything out there in existence for it to connect to because the Ouya is dead. So keeping in mind that this is a brand new Ouya, and I'm looking around here on the settings and in the back end on this thing, I don't know, man. We're gonna come on down here to apps, and there's nothing on this thing. Now all that may come in with that initial firmware, but if it does, I mean, we're not going to get that anyway. So my question now is, if we bypass the firmware, what is that going to do? Assuming we can actually get to a community server, and which they say there is, and download something. I don't know. But yeah, there's just, it shows you some devices and wallpapers, and there's just no apps. There's nothing on this thing. It's just a box. So this thing is looking for a day one update, or a firmware update, if you will. And there's not one out there, obviously, because the Ouya is deader than disco. As we, read correctly, Razer acquired this property and then just to throw it in the trash can, which is really silly, in my opinion. Leave it up. I mean, there was a community for this, it looks like. And, did we want to be a part of it? I don't know, but we at least could have been. I mean, EA's got servers up for games that have less than 10 people worldwide still playing them, so leave it up. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't make much sense to me. The other thing that doesn't make much sense to me is if there is an update we need and there is a community, then why is that not floating around out there for us to acquire? Now, I'm going to look into ways to sidestep this and get around it. Surely there's a bypass, but if there's an update we need, you'd think we could just go online and get it. Again, I mean, this is Android based. It's got a USB hookup. We can connect it to a PC. If we could physically put on here what it's looking for to get past this, I would do it. Well, man, that's about a crock of horse diarrhea right there. So, I mean, this is literally a paperweight. And it's a nice looking paperweight, but it's a paperweight. Now, after looking around online, there are bypasses, but oh my God, it's like actually having a quadruple bypass. It's about that complicated. And it said in the information that, you know, your router may or may not be set up to do the kind of finagling that this article is asking you to do. And well, mine's not. It's just not that advanced apparently. I looked everywhere and I don't see anywhere where I can make those changes. And there are steps beyond that they say are a little bit more extravagant that you can do, but oh my God, how far are we going to go to play this thing? Again, I don't understand why there's not just an update somewhere you can put on this thing. I mean, we've done it with other consoles. I mean, it's just another never-ending testament to, you know, don't buy into all digital premises. I mean, either the stuff's installed and it can work, or no. Otherwise, you end up with a paperweight. So, yeah, that's a bummer there. I feel like I need to call time of death on the project, but I also feel like the minute we do that, we're going to miss out on some way to get into what this still has to offer. I don't know. Again, there's a community out there. I'd like to pick some brains of some of the Ouyites out there. Maybe there's a way to get this thing to do something. And if there's not, we'll box it back up and put it back on the market, you know, because somebody out there can do it. But you know, that's something for a future episode. That's something for us to mess around with. But, you know, either way, I knew I boobed it when I woke up the next morning and saw that, oh my God, you won an Ouya. Well, balls, said the queen. If I had two, I'd be king. This isn't working out. But we got to kind of take a look at it in a physical sense. But yeah, I'm disappointed. I figured I would be anyway, no matter how this thing worked, but it really doesn't work. So I guess if that's helpful information, you probably don't want to get into one of these in 2020. Or do you? Again, this is pending any additional information I can get on this thing. I need to dig a little bit. Again, there's a community out there. There are forums out there. There's websites devoted to this. There are people that loved these things. Just like anything that gets a little cult following. So it'd be interesting to look at in a future episode. For whatever it's worth. You know, we got stuck with it. You know, mistakes were made, and we own an Ouya. There's worse things to own, I guarantee it. Some of them we've actually looked at on the show. So it is what it is, man. But I hope that you enjoyed this and maybe got a little something out of it, or at least got to laugh a little bit and have some fun at my expense. And, you know, there's just always there's a new episode every week here, and always something fun to look forward to and mess around with here on the Emceemur Show. And I do so love having you along for that ride. Let me know what you think about everything that you saw here today. Let me know about your experiences with Ouya, or lack thereof possibly, in the comment section of this video, because you know that I love getting a conversation going with you right here on the Emceemur Show, something that we do a lot of. I hope you will drop a like on this video. Go ahead, drop a like. And make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already done so to the Emceemur Show, thus making you a part of Mer Nation. We're rising up all the fantastic things that we do right here on the show. You need to be a part of. Make sure that you smack that notification bell so you're always the first to know when new content goes live. You know that I love making it for you each and every time, even if it is about a dead console. Emceemur signing off for this fantabulous unboxing, and I'll see you on the next one.